We back. We back. We back. You know we back. Ha ha. So, we're still talking about kids and the parenting and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm not a therapist or anything like that. I'm just a guy who used to work with kids that used to be in adjudicated situations. I was a case manager there. And, I've been around for a while. Kids can bring out the best in you, and of course, they can bring out the worst in you. Have we coddled our kids to a point of no return? Now, of course, I know that that's a pretty big subject and talking about it. And, because a lot of times, I haven't experienced yet, raising kids, almost there, haven't experienced yet raising teenagers and going through hormonal changes and just different things like that. But have we spoiled kids? And you think about it and you say, wow, like, I talk about it with guys all the time. Anybody from Philly or a big city would know how this is. I know going to high school, at junior high school, I was able to walk sometimes. We'll get a ride, but going to high school, I would catch the 52, the L, which is the train downtown to the free interchange, then catch the subway, get off at Broad Downey, and then catch the L or the 18 after I got kicked out of Central to Martin Luther King High School in West Oak Lane, Mount Airy, whatever you want to call it. And for people that from Philly they know it was a pretty rough school. But, that's just what you did. Nowadays, I get it, it's different. So, more people drive their kid to school. More people, try to do stuff. We have Uber now. We have Lyft. So people are just doing things in a different way. We have DoorDash. We have Postmates for people that use that. We have GoPuff. We have Uber Eats. We have a multitude of platforms for us to enable our kids in spending money. I was talking, oh gosh, man, I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but we were talking, and if it comes about, I'll give him a shout out. But we were talking about how, it was Jake. We were talking about this, talking about, hey, listen. You see what's on that plate? You see what's on that plate? Here's your option. You either eat it or you go to bed hungry. And, that's just it. To me, that's not child abuse or anything. You've made what you consider to be what's good for your child. Now, you'll have people, because I've gone through battles with this before, saying, oh, no. If they want to eat cereal at night, if I need to put some waffles in a toaster, oh no, why not? Or better yet, this one. I'm just going to order pizza and wings. I'm just going to order a cheesesteak. I'm just going to order a stromboli. And we would do that also, but that was typically saved for a Friday night after a hard work week of the parents or parent. But it was not an every night thing. I remember going to McDonald's was almost like, I guess, going to the casino as a kid and knowing you about to win. Oh my God, McDonald's. Oh Lord. Oh man. This is like a dream. The only thing I get to do with McDonald's on a regular basis is drive past and see those golden arches and hope that pray that somebody will stop and say, hey, you know what, son? I'm taking you to McDonald's. But back in the day, you go to McDonald's maybe once a month. And people in the age range, they understand that. They know that. But now, McDonald's, and I've fallen prey to this type of behavior. You know what it is? It's just easier to go, especially with the dollar menu now. And I got girls, so they don't eat as much. So you pull up, or either Wendy's. Yeah, I mean, let me get a $6 biggie bag, or let me get a McDonald's. Let me get the $5 because they came out with a bag too. We'll get two of them. I'll eat a little bit of it. I'll split the rest up with them because I don't want to eat the nuggets. They can have the fries and stuff like that. and, just get an extra drink. But even something as food, even something as small as food. Took my youngest daughter to the doctor. And one of the things the doctor said, although she's pretty healthy, one of the things the doctor said is, listen, this is what I'm reiterating to all parents this year that bring their kids for a checkup. Please be mindful of how much fast food you serve them. Please be mindful of how much processed food that you serve them. Please. Okay? Now, of course, in this country, we have an obesity issue, but of course, especially being black, you're a little more predisposition, I believe, to have diabetes. So, certain things that we want to watch out for. But still, we Chick-fil-A it up. We do all of this kind of stuff. And so now it's on the other end. So as opposed to only eating out or having a fun meal or something like that one time a week on that Friday, now we've transitioned to, out of a 7-day week, letting our kids get fast food sometimes 7 days a week. How'd that happen? You still parent the same way, right? How did that happen? And then we Cash App. And then we send money. Oh, okay. Here's $20. Here's $25. Here's such and such. My oldest daughter, she said to me one time, and I swear this was the end of it. And it might have seemed evil or mean, but she said, Daddy, I said, what's up? And this was a few months ago. She said, well, I got $20 inside of my Cash App left from her birthday, something like that, or whatever, or allowance or something. Can I order a crumble cookie? And I said, I've heard of crumble cookie before and everything like that. And I said, well, you need to check with your mom and all that other kind of stuff and everything. So mom calls me back and says, yo, no, that crumble cookie is $24 with delivery through one of these places, DoorDash or somebody. $24 for 2 cookies. So I called her back and I said, absolutely not. Well, it's my money. It's such and such, 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 such. And I said, I don't care. You're not getting it. And if I find out you get it, we are going to have some problems. So needless to say, she didn't get it that time. She has, of course, had crumble cookie before. But can you imagine that? Can you imagine what kind of life we live in now where you got an 11-year-old asking you to have a cookie, 2 cookies delivered for $24 for 2 cookies? And guess what? She ain't gonna share with nobody else. She ain't gonna give her sister. She gonna eat the whole thing, both of them. But the answer was no. Also, parents do stuff like, buying kids iPhones, buying kids iPads. Hey, listen, I get it. I had to kind of come to the realization these are uphill battles that are hard for me to fight. Because all the other kids got it. Doesn't mean we should do it, but okay, all the other kids got it. So what we have done is we have come up with a community of younger kids that have $1,000 phones, that have $1,000, $700 or $500 to $1,000 tablets. In some cases, some kids have MacBooks. Some kids are running around here with $200 and $300 sneakers on. But then wonder why the kids have this sense of entitlement. Wonder why these kids have a sense of, let me keep going. Let me keep raising the bar. Let me see. My 11-year-old says to me the other day, she has a couple Kurt Geiger bags, right? So she says to me the other day, I said, well, what you want for your birthday? You're going to be the Big 12. What do you want for your birthday? She tells me a Marc Jacobs bag. I said, oh, okay. And I'm thinking to myself, although Marc Jacobs bag wouldn't be considered at the higher level of Pantheon, but then she tells me, she said, yeah, Dad, it's only $350. You notice how the operative word was only? It's only $350. So you got a person that's about to be 12, that's 11, that's doing so much internet surfing, that's doing so much of looking up of all of these brands, because I never put none of this stuff in her head. to have the nerve to ask me for a $350 bag at 11 years old? What's next? Am I going to have to fly her to Paris and then we go hang out at the Louvre Museum and then take her straight over to Chanel so they can personally fit her and put her in their best couture? What's next? What's next? What type of society of kids are we raising here? What's next? Somebody tell me. I know I can't hear you, but I know I hear your mind thinking. And I'm not saying that kids shouldn't have lofty dreams. I'm not saying that kids shouldn't have nice things. But hey, I don't have a $350 bag. I do have a wallet that costs a few hundred. But guess what? I worked for that. But I also got a wallet that costs $15 off of Amazon. And they both do the same thing. And I worked for that one also. See, you know, the funny part about it is that, you know, because I tell them, listen, and even though they're girls, I want them to learn the essence of working. And even though I tell them, because, you know, you always try to tell people that are younger than you, hey, this is what I used to do back in the day. But I did. Started shoveling snow at 10 years old. Because, you know, back in the day, in the 80s, it was snow like crazy up in Philly. Before global warming. I was the built-in shoveler. So I had to do my mom, my grandma, if I was up that way, my dad, the next door neighbor. You know what I'm saying? So I had to do all of this pro bono, free. And then I would have to walk around the neighborhoods. I walk around here in West Philly. I walk around up in Mount Airy. Hey, how you doing? Would you like your snow shovel? And it was a different time. I could do that at 10 years old. Walk around in a 3-block radius and ask, and without having to have to worry about anything happening to me, with just me and a shovel, and try to make my own money. At 12 years old, my dad got me a job at this other place, this little restaurant, and I was a dishwasher there. At 14 years old, Ron Allen and I, we were working over at the Cornucopia. And we were over there as servers at 14, 15 years old. And it's funny because when you learn how to work young, you appreciate a lot more stuff as you get older. But when everything is given to you, because we're spoiling them, when everything is given to you, what do you have to look forward to? Now all you have to look forward to is you raising the bar to try to get other things that you think are important. But in the case of my oldest, if she knew at her age, if she were to work, how hard it would be, how much you would have to save to get to a $350 bag, you know what would happen? Because she would probably only make $5 an hour. I don't know what job it would be, but it would only be about $5 an hour. All right? So let's do the quick math. At $5 an hour, it would take her 70 hours to make the money for that Marc Jacobs bag. And because she's 11, you know what would happen? I'll tell you what would happen. After the first 30, 40 hours, she would probably get disenchanted. She'd probably say, you know what, I'm cool. I'll just get something else that's a little cheaper. But when you got people that consistently give you stuff for doing nothing except being my bundle of joy, this is what you get. Spoiled, entitled children. Now, that's not everybody. That's not a lot of them. And it has to be a balance. We work around her. We work around here. No. You don't have a choice. You turn a certain age, you're going to college, dog. And if you ain't going to college, you better have a good plan as far as what trade school you going to. Because guess what? You ain't sitting around here. We're not sitting around here. You're not going to be the next Kai Cenat. And even if you are, God bless you, you better figure out a way to do it over in that dorm room. Because you're not just sitting around here being a nobody. Me, I almost went into the Army. I went straight to college. I ducked the recruiter. I realized it wasn't for me. I didn't want to go. And that was that. But a lot of these other kids out here who don't have another plan, if you got somebody that you know that has a 18, 19, 20-year-old with no other purpose and hopefully no felonies, send them to the military then. Because we have no more time for spoiled, entitled kids, especially spoiled, entitled young men, to be sitting around here doing nothing. Make sure you tell them you need to go somewhere. Because you can go into the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, the Marines, and go and get something out of life that you may not be able to get anywhere else. Some of us have needed certain discipline. Whether you believe in the Army or the Navy, the Air Force, Marines or not, some people need that type of discipline that they're just not going to get at home. That if they live a lot of times with mom is just going to treat him like, oh, that's my little baby, even though he's 19, 20 years old. Send his butt away somewhere. So something doesn't happen around here to send him up somewhere. And when I mean up somewhere, upstate somewhere, up to Jesus, because he got rocked. Stop spoiling these kids. Because guess what? A lot of times you weren't spoiled. If you're a grandparent listening, I get it. Grandparents spoil their kids. But even if you spoiling your kid, you damn sure better make sure that your kid is not spoiling your grandkid. And that is making them work and do stuff. I don't care how cute the little kids are, they're cute. And believe me, I got 2 little cuties. I don't care about that. And they know I don't. Because I don't want them to be like, oh, well, don't worry, my daddy got everything. You know what I want them to be able to do? Hey, listen, I want a mate. I want a great mate when they get older, adults. But because of what my dad instilled in me, I am still able to fend for myself, to do well for myself until my mate comes. Conversely, if you got sons, you want them to be able to be men enough to run a household. You want them to be men enough to be able to stand up to the certain definite obstacles that are going to come their way. And not be a little boy being a coward, hiding behind stuff and letting bills pile up and then getting all of these shut off notices and all that other kind of stuff. Because believe me, first time I got a shut off notice, attention, and I was never in the military, but I had to sit up and say, it's kind of scary here in the dark. Let's raise a better nation of kids. Because most of us out there are doing a great job and we're doing the best that we can do. But sometimes we all, including me, just need a reminder. Hey, man, you ever think about doing it this way a little bit? You ever think about doing it that way a little bit? Just think about it a little bit. Because it's a village, as they say. We all need help. We all need suggestions. And speaking of suggestions, if you got any for me to be a better parent, put it in the comments. And hey, while you're doing that, make sure you continue to live life. Don't let life live you.